What y'all doing out there in social media land? Oh, I feel rusty today. Maybe because I've been on the road. I just got back in town at like 1 o'clock this morning. I drove up to Indianapolis. One of my best friend's moms passed a couple of weeks ago, and it was really, really, really sad. But I'm back. She was like a mom. I got 4 kids, 5 really, just one is in heaven, um, because of the way she parented. Like all my friends had, well, not all of them, but my 2 um, early childhood friends, both of their mamas had a lot of kids, and I just used to love to be around them and learning about mothering. And Justina was such a great mom. I used to be like, oh, when I grow up, I'm gonna have a bunch of kids. Because I was the only child. So that was intriguing to me, to want to have a bunch of children. And to see all of them this past weekend, some of them I have not seen in over 20 years, right? So to tell you how long me and her been friends. And just when I come visit, she would just come to me. And the one thing that I really, really, really regret is that my boys didn't get to get, uh, a moment with Justine. She would have really, really, really enjoyed talking trash to them, because that's what she liked to do, y'all. She loved that. But and I just loved her. I loved how my homegirl's daddy loved her, how they loved each other. Like it was funny. But the card that came up today is 1616 willpower for our angel whisper cards, and then we're gonna pull a period power card. And I'm gonna pull from the autumn deck since we in the fall months. And I'm gonna try to let that be the theme from now on. Is that I'm gonna just pull all the things based upon where we are seasonally, and see how that shows up in our everyday experience, right? So let me go in here real quick. I gotta finish this email. Okay. Okay. All right. So Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're going to talk about some good stuff today, y'all. Like what I realized about, traveling over this past weekend, the biggest thing that came to me was balance. Before I left, I went to go and see one of my aunts, and she is one of the last of the Mohicans in our maternal bloodline. So it's her, my mama, and me. And we got to talking, and one of the things that she left me with was balance. And so today we're going to talk about this with this Libra new moon. Y'all know the Libra scales is all about balance. And we're going to talk about boundaries and how during the fall or the autumn or the luteal phase of our cycles, we really need to be able to tap into this hormonal energy, right? So we can have hormonal harmony, okay? And that's the balance that we are looking for during this phase, which is premenstrual. It's premenstrual. Like, that's why they call it PMS, okay? So the cards that we got today, as I was shuffling, y'all just saw me doing all that shuffling. And it's the first card in autumn. And it says, Highway to Hell. Okay? Funny, funny, funny. And then this one is all about willpower. So we're going to see how these tie in. And if they don't tie in, I'm going to see what I can do to tap in to our foremothers and get this energy popping for today. So peace, 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 and blessings, and love, and light, and liberation, and shadow work, and deep, healing work, and all the things that are needed to be able to find balance, right? Because I was talking with a friend not too long ago, and one of the questions that came up was like the difference between, a goddess of dark and a goddess of light. And I said, well, God don't see ain't no respecter of person, so there is no difference, because God creates both dark and light, but we just got to be able to have balance. And I think that's where our willpower comes into play, because one of the things that I've learned is that when people talk about, oh, we got free will, the freedom of the will comes with a cost, right? It comes with a cost, and that cost is whether or not we want to be able to align with our higher selves or stay in the lower base vibrations of our lower selves. So either we're going to rise higher or we're going to stay in the low frequency. And when we're in the luteal phase, because all of the hormonal changes that are taking place are bringing everything down, then we sometimes find ourselves on the highway to hell. Okay? So today we are aligning under the energy of this Libra new moon, which is a sign of balance and beauty and harmony and all the things, right? So because Libra is asking us to check in on our scales to really have balance, we are here to really find out where we're giving too much and where we're not receiving enough. And usually, this is where our emotions start to wane back and forth in one direction or the other. And since we're in our inner autumn or the premenstrual phase, when we're talking about this, we're going to just take a moment to acknowledge the drop in the hormones. And it's sacred time for us to slow down, to regulate, to become anchored, grounded in our willpower, and not force anything, but to be in the flow. Okay, I heard something the other day, and I've been seeing so many different women talking about menstrual cycle stuff and in the cyclical nature of women, and I just thought it was really funny because I be holding back, right? And I be holding back from having these conversations sometimes because I feel like I don't want to overwhelm people with too much information, right? But one of the sisters was saying something. She was like, women be mad at you because you didn't give her no baby. So that's why she be, feeling all kind of ways and blah, 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 blah. And I said, well, how does that work in essence to women who don't want to have children, who don't want to conceive? And it's not that she's mad at him. I, on the other hand, have taught for many years that it is the dissolving of the egg, of all of that cosmic active energy that saddens a woman that she didn't get to use it in the way that she really had originally maybe thought or designed it to be, which means that she didn't fertilize the egg. It's not him. It's really her hormones. So we can't be pointing blame over there to our counterparts, because then that's not regulation. That's not emotional maturity. So we got to really tap into our emotions and be able to say, hey, can I bring some balance and some beauty and harmony to this thing? And that's what we get ready to tap into today. Just 1 second, y'all. Yes, can I help you? I got to watch my phone because last week, I don't know if I had told y'all, last Monday, I had got into a car accident going to do some work. And so I've been waiting on these insurance people to call me back so I can get some stuff finished. But anyway, anchoring, finding out where we're giving too much energy and where we're not receiving enough is very imperative during this particular period of time, because the body is saying to the feminine, right, that we are moving through our hormones in such a way that we are about to basically lose an egg, right? That egg is about to dissolve, and that's because it was not fertilized. And that fertilization can do a lot of things. It can help to pick us up. It can help us to be grounded and have more energy. But when we don't do that, guess what? We are forced to reckon with that energy. And when we don't understand what has happened during that time, we get jacked up. So let's read this willpower 1616 angel number here. Things may feel out of sync and not within your control. The whisper of the divine is asking that you remember that you are being supported and that your will is your superpower. Determination is key right now. See, I told you I can't make this stuff up. I call on my strength and willpower to take the lead. I accept and listen to the support of the divine within me. Do y'all know what that means? That means that you got to be in control. You cannot be sitting up and posting blame and shifting blame to other people about the experiences that you're having or not, okay? Because it's really up to you, and you got to be aware of that. So I make sure my ring is staying on there where it's supposed to be. But we have to be aware of that, right? And so when we're aware of it, we avoid getting on this highway to hell, okay? That's where I feel like I was last week. So let's see what it says. Welcome to the less glamorous half of your menstrual cycle. But we're trying to change that over here, pretty period. Either immediately after ovulation or by day 20 or 21 in a 28-day cycle, you notice a subtle or dramatic shift in how you feel and behave. Okay, that was a, seems like it was a confirmation or something of slowing down. That sounds like the highway to hell right there. In the first half, estrogen is there to make us chatty and horny and make us prone to obliging others. As estrogen levels drop, your energy slumps and turns inward, and you feel yourself detaching and withdrawing. Although some people will feel right at home once they land in their autumn, this premenstrual phase of the cycle is typically where we fall apart a little or a lot. Our energy and positivity disappear, our emotions spill out, our frustrations leave us feeling light, like tightly wound coils, and of course, the physical side of things such as sore boobs, bloating, and dodgy digestion, night sweats, headaches, backaches, and all of those things can make it really a fun time or not so fun, right? So that's where we have to find balance. We have to really tap into creating boundaries during that time. Like your homegirls be like, oh, you be like, I ain't doing nothing today. And she be like, oh, okay, well, come on, we gonna go do this. She's like, no, you gotta say no. No, because your body, she's telling you, no. I mean, like, I'm not doing nothing. That's your boundary to say no. Not today, sis. We can go out maybe sometime next week or week after, but today I'm cool. And so that's how you also create hormonal harmony, because you're able to say no. And when this Libra and Venus, this Rubicon Venus comes out, which is a planet of love and pleasure and aesthetics and all the pretty things, it's no surprise that this moon calls for us to seek balance. And not just in relationships, but in the inner relationship with ourselves, and how important it is for us to be able to tap into that energy and really hold space for it, because this is a season of recalibration. If y'all didn't know that already, okay, well, you can't fake peace no more. Either you're going to be with somebody or you're not. Either you're going to do this job or you're not. Either you're going to live over here or you're not. There's a lot of things that shift during this time of the year. And this is also when people start to deal with seasonal depression. And so if it's off, your body is going to tell you. Your body is going to say, oh, it's a shift. And let me tell y'all, I'm supposed to be on like day 27 for real, because not only did last Monday I ended up having that fender bender, that side swipe, then the week before that, my kids came home with cooties and I had norovirus. Now, I don't know how I was this dehydrated, but it triggered a false bleed. And so I was like, man, is this a real period? But it was there for like maybe about 5 days. And I was like, whoa, and it got a little heavier, but it was very dark. It wasn't bright red like my usual cycle. And so I had to mark it as if I was having a cycle, because today on day 27, 28, if I don't have a cycle tomorrow or whatnot, then I know for sure that my cycle shifted. But there were also other forces in place during that time, that there was this big recalibration that was happening in my life. So I think that our bodies will tell us too. So this week, I invite you to look at your relationships, to the food you eat, to the way you allow yourself to get rest, to the way that your cycle shows up or not, okay? To your habits, the ones you want to enhance or the ones that you want to break. And ask yourself, is this nourishing me or is this draining me? And when I was sick the last week, I couldn't even get out of bed for 2 days. I came downstairs, some of my plants was all looking raggedy and dead, and I was like, oh my God, you know. And so I realized that there was this thing that was falling away. And so what I am sharing with you guys here is that do not allow or wait for the body to compromise you. Use your willpower. Use your force of direction to be able to really tap into where you are emotionally. And y'all, I'm gonna tell you, I'm tired today. I didn't get in until after 1 o'clock this morning. I probably didn't go to bed till about 2:30, 3 o'clock. Just, you know, situating things in the house. You know, when you come back from out of town, it's like, okay, let me put this over here. At least that's how I do it, right? But it allowed me to sleep in a little later this morning. So I did that, but I had to go and do things about my car today. I had to clean out my old car so that I can prepare to get another car. Then I had to deal with the rental car people. Then I got football tonight. And listen, y'all, a girl is like, listen, my body is calling me and telling me, not right now. Not today. You're not going to be out here like that today. You done done all you're going to do today. And I'm listening for that balance. I'm listening for those boundaries. And I'm listening for that hormonal harmony that my body is asking me for, even though I am presumably in a day 13 where I should have a whole bunch of energy. Today, that ain't the case. And I was like, well, if it wasn't that happening to me, am I shifting in my cyclical nature through perimenopause? Is it about to be over? Whatever it is, I'm going with the flow. I'm not trying to force anything. I'm doing the things that I need to do so I can be able to balance out everything else so that I can say, well, this is nourishing me, but this is draining me. And if this is nourishing me, I can continue to do that, right? What's nourishing me? Water right now. You know, I had my favorite drink this morning, which was Liquid Gold. I've been doing my seeding and all that stuff. And so those are things that nourish me. But the things that drain me is overthinking. Happen to be all these places. Like, I'm totally over that. Like, I'm in that we don't care club. So that's where it is, right? But I want to think about this inner wisdom thing that comes during the autumn cyclical season, right? Which is our 4th season. And I think that when we understand this from a hormonal standpoint, we know that in the menstrual cycle, the inner autumn or inner fall is really mirroring the waning moon. Okay? Progesterone begins to rise, preparing the body to either release or renew. Right? So that's why I said, what's nourishing you or what's draining you? So if we resist the capacity to start slowing down, then that's when we create tension. That's when we start to see PMS and mood swings and fatigue. But if we align with it and we step into our power, into our own discernment, into alignment and balance, then that's when we're able to really take this time to really see where our power matters most. Because I also think that this is a very deep, detailed time for manifestation. Because willpower doesn't mean that you're trying to hurry up and get everything done. I gotta push, I gotta do this, I gotta get this, Like, no, it means choosing wisely. I had this girl talking about, oh, I just wish that, I had men give me a soft life. And I was like, okay, I get that, right? But sis, you give yourself a soft life too. You just gotta be able to choose. You gotta choose wisely what you do with your time so that you're not putting yourself in a position to where instead of choosing rest, right, you following this whole pattern of resentment. Like, you don't have to do that. You can choose rest over resentment. You can choose setting boundaries over burnout. You can choose nourishment over numbness, because a lot of times we'll choose numbness because we be like, you know what, I can't even feel nothing. I gotta just be strong. I gotta keep moving. I gotta keep doing all the things. And really that's what creates the burnout. And then eventually you're gonna be resentful. And then that becomes your cyclical pattern. When in the fall, when you are getting this progesterone to be able to make you be able to slow down, because it's also coming just in case you did get pregnant. This progesterone is going to slow you down so that it can hold space for the egg. It's like a cup. Okay? But if the cup is too full, it's going to spill over. So you got to be able to do things to release the tension. You got to do things to be able to renew your energy. And that's where rest comes in. That's where setting boundaries comes in. And that's when nourishment comes in. So there's a practice that I want to share with y'all today. And I got a football game this evening, so I'm not going to be too long with y'all. But maybe not. Maybe I won't give that one, but I'll give this one here. Practicing rituals for balance. And sometimes I think when I say ritual, people feel a certain kind of way because they think that I'm like into some really deep dark magic. I had a lady reach out to me and say something about witchcraft, and I hear that often, but I just be saying, well, which one? Witchcraft do you think I'm doing? Because right now I think you're doing witchcraft on me. You're doing witchcraft on me by judging me. by judging me because I say, and I use the terminology ritual. But it's a ritual for you to be on social media. It's a ritual for you to listen to your gospel music. It's a ritual for you to cook your foods and put certain seasons in it. But you don't see me coming up to you and saying that you practicing witchcraft, but whatever you're doing, you're trying to alchemize it to do something to benefit you. So what I do with this work is I try to create environments and space and information to help benefit the women who are in this group, so that the information that they get can bring them balance, can bring them more boundaries, right? And more access to the beauty and the pretty things in life, even when they in their menstrual or in their luteal, okay? So we're going to talk about foods for the balance first. And we're going to talk about how do we actually live in this alignment with each of these phases that we're in, specifically this phase, which is the new moon. So foods that are focused on grounding are things like sweet potatoes, lentils, beets, squash. Some people like pumpkin. I am not a pumpkin girl, so don't ever think that I want some pumpkin spice or none of that. For y'all who out there who like that pumpkin spice stuff, ew, yuck, okay? And I am saying that to y'all like I'm serious about it, okay? Because these things, they help with the progesterone production to keep your blood sugar stable. So sweet potatoes, lentils, beets, squash, those are good things for you. Slow movement. You got to get up and move. If you a sedentary person and you sit at the office desk all day, can you get up and walk to the water cooler? Don't just be bringing your water pitcher to work and just sitting it on your desk and you like sipping on it all day. Do some yoga in your chair, stretch, even dance, okay? There's a playlist that's super graceful I can share with y'all later in the chat. But the other thing is like red leaf raspberry. Everybody think like, oh, let me do this while I'm pregnant. But no, you need to do that too so you can tone your uterus and your body can be in alignment with what is going to take place. Chamomile tea, ashwagandha, shahadavari, those all help to regulate your hormones and your mood shifts. Making sure your vitamin D is in check, because that's another big thing. A lot of the hormonal issues that we have is because we got low iron. That's why you got fatigue. That's why your period cramps is real bad, because you ain't got no good iron. Okay, some of this stuff is things that I do in the postpartum, because I feel like when we are in postpartum, of course, we're bleeding and our bodies are open, which is the same thing that happens during our menstrual cycles, but we don't really take care of our bodies from our periods the same way we do postpartum. So I think that's very important to acknowledge that it's the same thing. You giving birth to an egg. It might not be a fully developed egg that is going to be a human, but it's an egg nonetheless. And so I want you to think about this. And if you ain't got your journal, I'm not going to keep on talking to y'all about getting y'all journals, because y'all need to get them. And if you don't have the Pretty Period journal, then you need to get you something that you can write in or take notes on your phone or whatever it is that you need to do, because I need for you to think about, where do you need to restore balance in your life before you bleed? What do you want to use your bleed cycle for? Write it down. Write the vision, make it plain. My auntie, same auntie that I was telling y'all about earlier, she about balance. She the reason why I'm doing this thing today too, because I was like, oh, I'm gonna do this in the name of my auntie. So anyway, we were talking about things, and she was talking about giving me some assignments and prescriptions to do spiritually. And one of the things that she told me was about writing things down, because when you write things down, you name it, right? And then you set one small intention, to facilitate it. And so with what you're doing when you're talking, you just put it out there in the ethers. And anything can catch hold to it. But when you write it down, you write it in stone. That's why it was so big for people to write things in stone. So when you're under this new moon, tonight and tomorrow, set one small intention to bring that balance forward. Whatever it is that you feel like you need to restore balance in your life, do it. Do it, and do it before you bleed, so you can get the downloads on what you need to do to move forward. Y'all done heard me say it all the time. I'm gonna need to bleed on it. I'm gonna need to bleed on this so I can really get the downloads and the information that I need to facilitate what I need. And last month, because I was going through all these different changes and shifts, I was like, what the heck is going on here? So this month when I do my bleed, oh, I'm going to get all the downloads, because I know for sure that there are things that I've written down that I need to really get clarity on as I'm moving through the rest of this year, okay? So I want you to think about that. Write down what you need. Eat the foods that you need. Do the movement that you need. Walk every day. Get outside and walk around your block. If you live in an apartment, walk around your complex. Walk to your mailbox if it ain't right directly in front of your house. Walk down to your store if you have the capacity to do that. Get outside, get fresh air, do something that causes you to interact with nature and quiet nature. Sometimes it's okay to turn them earbuds off and just go and listen to nature in and of itself. Even if you live in a busy city, I'm sure you can still hear birds. I'm still sure you can hear the wind blowing. You can smell the air. Like, get outside. And then use your herbal allies. Get you that red leaf raspberry, that chamomile, that ashwagandha, that shahardabari, and do the work with it. And boost your iron levels up, okay? Because that's really what this is about. So I done a lot of talking, and I want to take some deep breaths. Y'all know how I like to do it. I just had to take that one first because I've been chapping. All right, y'all take a deep breath with me. Inhale, peace. Exhale, pressure. We're going to do another inhale, peace. And this time we're going to exhale, pressure, but we're going to open our mouths and we're going to make it vocal, okay? Inhale, peace. Exhale, pressure. Let it go. It's okay. Inhale, peace. Exhale, pressure. Because that exhale is really you giving birth. That's really the birth that you need. The rebirth is really of yourself, so that you can really tap into who it is that you need to become over this next couple of months, so you can walk into 2026 like a real OG, okay? Because under this new moon in Libra, this is your time to really find balance and honor your body. Like, weigh it against the original scale. If that means I'm going to weigh it against your mama, I'm going to weigh it against your grandmama, I'm going to weigh it against your aunties, your sisters, your cousins, the friends you choose, weigh it against the scale and see if there's equilibrium. See if there's balance, if there's reciprocity. And if it's not, it's okay to speak the truth. And your body is going to tell you, because when you start naming them people off and you can write them down in your journal, you can name it, the sensation going to show up in your body. It might show up as tension in your shoulders. It might show up as twitching in your eye. Your nose might start itching. Your hand might start itching. Your back might start hurting. Pay attention to your body. And it's going to tell you. Okay? Because balance is not something that you find, sis. It's not, you ain't looking for balance. It's already in you. It's a built-in shelf, right? But it's built in through awareness. And when you've had certain experiences and things like that over and throughout your life, you can make certain decisions and executive decisions based upon those experiences, so that you can know the difference, and your body is going to tell you that difference when you start to name it. So I'm filing my nails. I just took off my press-ons, so I'm under here filing, so my fingernails don't look like I've been working on cars. But so when we enter into this inner autumn, my prayer is that we carry grace, that we carry discipline, and that we carry tenderness for ourselves first. And you realize I ain't say for your kids, I didn't say for your man, for your mama, for your homegirls, for yourself. For yourself first. Because, like I said, this timeline is like a cup. And if it's empty and dry in there, there ain't gonna be no harmony in there. Vibration comes through flow. It's a flow state. And whatever you vibrate is gonna come up. So that's why we gotta be disciplined to ourselves so that we can remember that our willpower is sacred. It's our spiritual muscle to maintain harmony. Okay? And we could talk about this all day. I could anyway, for hours and hours. But I want you to think about this over this next week, because I'm really, really feeling like, okay, as much as I want to keep moving and doing things, I was being interrupted these last few weeks. And that may be my body's way of telling me that it's okay to slow down. And so I'm listening. I'm listening to my body. I'm listening with grace. I'm doing this thing with discipline. And I'm actually asking for the awareness every day. Like, show me. Show me where I need to restore balance before I bleed for real this time. You know? Show me how to do this with confidence in my intuition, right? Show me how to choose the boundaries that I need to set in order for me to get to the space and places that I need to get to, or that I want to get to, because sometimes where you want to get to ain't where you need to be. So I want y'all to think about that too. Just because you have an ambition to be somewhere don't mean that that's where you're supposed to be. And be courageous enough to acknowledge that. And I ain't saying not to be resilient and persistent to do the things that you want to do, but it takes grace. And in order for you to have that kind of grace, you got to really be able to tap into maintaining a level of balanced brilliance, right? So that you can understand that we're going to have these cycles and they're going to be repeating and repeating and repeating and repeating. And some of them are meant to repeat, right? Remember that. But some of them are also meant to be put to the side. Some things are meant to be pushed away. Some things you don't need to renew. Some things you need to be able to anchor yourself down and say, nope, not today, because it forces you to do too much. It forces you to do too much. And you ain't got to fake being peaceful with people, especially if you know your body feels a certain kind of way when you get around them. Listen to it. Them ain't your friends if your nervous system gets to acting up. Or maybe it's, okay, let me go ahead and go and schedule my appointment with this therapist, because I need to figure out what childhood things are showing up for me that I didn't really get to get regulated growing up, because maybe my mama or my caregiver didn't have the capacity to show me, and now it's showing up in this very vital space and place in my life. And now I got really, really bad PPMD, or what is it? I think that's it. You know? So I think that we need to take a moment during this new moon and really tap into that. Really tap into what that is. What is the ritual? You know, what is the ritual? The ritual is finding balance within yourself. Not something that you got to go out here and be like, oh, let me go and do this yoga pose. Yeah, yoga is fine because it helps you to build that awareness and that sturdiness and consistency in your body, right? Because it's about being in motion. But it's also about just being conscious and building your awareness. And that's what this autumn season allows us to do. So I hope this helps somebody today. Y'all know what it is. Love, light, liberation, and y'all stay pretty. Period.